what they said I did. I know for a fact it wasn't true. I didn't headlock her. I didn't beat her with the door. I only try to diffuse the situation.
When people do the most, I do the analysis. Let's go. Today, Quadajah Johnson appeared in court for a detention hearing, and once again, her defense team asked the judge to release her on bond while she awaits trial. And once again, that request was denied. Not because the court ignored her pregnancy, not because the court ignored the attorney's arguments, but because the judge continues to find that Quadajah Johnson poses a danger to society. During today's hearing, Quadajah's attorney, Ari Williams, argued that her client is not a flight risk and should be released on bond with conditions until her trial date. She emphasized that Quadajah is a first-time offender, she's currently pregnant, and suggested that electronic monitoring would be sufficient. However, the prosecution strongly opposed that request, and the judge ultimately agreed. The court denied pretrial release, reaffirming its earlier findings that this case involves premeditated violence and that public safety outweighs the defense's arguments. At this point, I want to play a brief clip from Fox 32's Tia Ewing, who had eyes in the courtroom today.
Quadajah Holly Johnson, the woman now charged in Blackman's death. Prosecutors say Johnson shot Blackman during a confrontation in Chicago's South Loop on September 8th last year. Johnson, who was licensed to carry a firearm, has claimed that she feared for her life. In court today, Johnson's attorney argued for her release, but documents show that motion was denied.
Let's talk about why Holly's release continues to be denied. This is the key point I want everyone to understand. Pre-trial release decisions are not about punishment. They're about risk. Judges consider three main factors when considering pre-trial release. Is the defendant a flight risk? Is the defendant likely to interfere with the case? And most importantly here, does the defendant pose a danger to the community? In Quadajah Johnson's case, the court has consistently answered that last question with a yes. And this is the third judge to do it. Prosecutors allege that the murder of Ramika Blackman was not spontaneous. And it certainly was no accident. And it wasn't a crime of passion. They allege it was planned and intentional, and they believe strongly in their evidence to support it. When a judge finds credible evidence of premeditated murder, the threshold for release becomes extremely high, even with mitigating factors like pregnancy. The court is essentially saying if someone is capable of planning and carrying out a killing, electronic monitoring does not eliminate the risk to others. Another important moment today involved Quadajah's social media activity. Her attorney also asked the court to prevent Quadajah's social media posts from being used or discussed, arguing that they should be kept offline. The judge denied that motion as well. The judge stated that those posts, however incriminating they may be, are relevant because they speak to Quadajah's state of mind. That's significant because one of those posts says, "Sometimes you gotta start killing mother effers." The judge wants the jury to see that. Courts don't dismiss digital evidence simply because it's uncomfortable or it's damaging. If social media content helps establish intent, mindset, or behavior leading up to the crime, then it becomes part of the evidentiary picture. Today's hearing reinforces what we've been saying all along. The court is taking the charges against Quadajah Johnson extremely seriously. Multiple attempts at pretrial release have now been denied because the judge believes the alleged actions, particularly the premeditated unaliving of Ramika Blackman, demonstrate a danger that cannot be mitigated by bond conditions. As this case moves forward, these rulings give us a clearer picture of how the court views both the evidence and the stakes involved. That's all I have for now, but I will continue to follow this story and I will bring you updates as the story unfolds. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who can use this message. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts. Do you believe Holly is going to be released before her trial begins? Meet me in the comments. We can continue the conversation there.